Hello, my loverlies. This is a Libra Collective reading, but it's a mini one. It's not an extensive reading, but it is in general, so it is a collective reading. Let's see what comes. Please fast forward if you don't like the sound. I understand all the clanking. Thank you for being here. Thank you for watching me, for joining me, for subscribing, and for sharing the videos. Much appreciated on that. Cross watchers, you're welcome, because my philosophy is always that you can learn what not to do to your Libra or how your Libra ticks. This reading is from the Witch's Wisdom. Isn't it pretty? I just love it. It's not a deck from the Wizard of Oz, but that's the feeling I get. The feeling I get from it. I'm going to keep the book out just because most of them, because I've had it for so long, I know the meanings of them. But just once in a while, just if I want just like a little bit more, you know, just a little bit more, then I'll know which direction to gravitate towards information wise. Wow, one thing I can tell you right now, put these over here so they're out of the way. One thing I can tell you for sure that I can see right off the bat is there's a lot of, I wouldn't call it yellow, I would call it orange yellow, like an orange that has like a burnt orange. There you go, like a burnt orange. For those that don't know what burnt orange is, it looks like this, a burnt orange. It's a mixture. It's not quite orange and it's certainly not yellow. Okay, so I see a lot of that on the table. For me, that's power, that's energy, that's being built up and in your favor to make you stronger, to fortify you. And sometimes we should even wear the color so that it can energize us, okay? I'm gonna put my glasses on just because it's dark. I don't want to use the overhead light. It is extraordinary. Look at my hair. That's because it's so hot here. It's over 100 degrees, so. Okay. So for sure you're having a rebirth. I mean, not just because the card says it, but it says Yule on it. So the Yule card has to do with rebirth, with something that's going to sleep, like we did discuss yesterday. Remember yesterday's reading where we were discussing rebirths and winter and what it meant for our finances? For example, as Libra, some of us that are having difficulty with finances, how it had been the winter of your finances. Well, here you go again. We're talking about Yule. Yule has comes about in the winter, okay? It's normally winter solstice. I love the snowflakes. I just came from a really cold place where it snows like crazy because it's super close to Canada. And I'm sorry, guys, I'm already reminiscing because I miss it. It's so beautiful that the 3 months of snow, well, excessive snow, it doesn't even matter because it's so beautiful in general all year long. It's like a winter wonderland. But I'll get back to the reading. So because there's a rebirth that's here, I think that's why all the burnt orange is here. I didn't have my glasses on. I think that's why the burnt orange is here. Okay? Because it's trying to reinvigorate your life. It's trying to give your life back its essence, okay? And we all know with the rebirth what happens you know, in the winter, everything dies. Everything dies. The only things, and it just depends on where you live, right? But here in Texas, everything dies away except the evergreens. The evergreens never dry up. They never go brown. They live forever. They're evergreen. But anything that's perennial is yearly only, like it's seasonal, and then that will die away. So when we show the Yule, when we show the winter, it's because everything is dying away. Everything is ending. And that's what we've been seeing, and a lot of us have been experiencing on a personal level, that there's been a cutting away, there's been a dying, there's been yesterday's reading talked about endings to your finances, endings that felt like you were losing everything, right? So much like that, things have been dormant. Things have been asleep for a while in their slumber, okay? But you can say between the months of December through February, well, mostly December. So when the winter first starts, everything first starts to go to sleep. But you have had your protection. Isn't that coincidental that I just showed you guys? And I just finished saying how beautiful I thought it was, and it reminded me of the Alice in Wonderland, right? Well, that's the same card is what's depicted on the cover of the book and the cover of the box. This card has to do with the magic circle, the circle of power, the circle of protection. And that's what's been offered and given to you. It may not feel that way at times, right? At times it doesn't feel that way. It feels like we're being punished. It feels like it's never ending, for one. But the circle of protection, the hedge of protection has been placed over you by God and Goddess alike, has been put there for you, so that even though you felt all the other things that were leaving your life, and things were going awry, and things were not moving forward for you, things were not going as smoothly as you wanted to, perhaps, but you had a hedge of protection, whether you knew it or you did not. Okay, the next card on is water and cleansing. So if you've been feeling down, if you've been feeling your finances are shaky, if you've been feeling that your luck is shaky, maybe it's time for a cleansing, guys. Do y'all cleanse often? How often do you cleanse? You should cleanse at the least once a month. At the least, you should cleanse at least once a month. I know some people do it every 3 months, quarterly. Okay, if nothing bad or out of the ordinary is happening, and that's the way you want to do it, so be it. Some people only do it once a year. Again, if your life flows free and you never have these worries that feel of stuck energy, again, the Yule, death, stoppage, stop, right? That's what winter does. It stops a lot of things. No more growth. So if you've been feeling that, maybe this card is here to let you know it's time to cleanse. Do you cleanse? When do you cleanse? What do you cleanse with? Have you been cleansing and you still don't see a difference? Okay, change your cleansings. Change whatever it is you're doing for your cleansing. Okay, a simple cleansing that you can do. And I'm sorry, I just came in from the outside and the AC was off all this time. So, it's hot in here. It's trying to get cooled off. One thing that you can do that's a very simple cleansing. I don't know if I told you guys, I am a high priestess. I won't talk about the order, but I am a high priestess. And so once in a while, you're going to hear other things intertwined. So one of the things that I'd like to discuss right now, since it's bringing it to our attention, is cleansings. So a very, very simple cleansing that you can do is salt and water. My favorite is sea salt. That's my favorite. Now, don't get dismayed if all you can afford is table salt, right? From the aisle where everybody goes and gets the big salt for 50 cents or whatever it is now. Then just get that and that's fine. okay? If you have the opportunity to hit the road, or you live by the ocean, go get inside of the water. Get inside of that water. I live 3 hours. I can't easily do that, but hopefully sometime this summer I will get there. But meanwhile, what you can do, if you do not have the convenience of the ocean by you, then you need to perhaps get some salt. And don't take the one from the kitchen. If that's something you use for cooking, leave it be. Just go and get a new one. I like to use the sea salt, and I do prepare it, and sometime this year I'll start selling my items again. Right now I just don't have enough time to start selling my goods again, but just get yourself some salt that's designated only for your cleansings. If you can put it into a container that you can stick in your shower or bathtub area and keep it dry so that you only use it and then you close it again, oh my gosh, that's going to help you a lot. It's phenomenal. You got to do it. And so again, if you're experiencing anything like that, you need to get a cleansing. So if you're not cleansing, or if you are cleansing and you don't see any difference, you have to start using something different, okay? Next comes the wands. Woo! Oh wow, the wands. Wands have energy. What do the energies have? Well, it's a wand, so it has fire. So that one wanted to jump. Okay? So, oh wow. Didn't I just, yeah, I did. This morning I did a video on intentions. What are your intentions, and setting your intentions? And do you set your intentions, and do you set them daily? Do you have something that's written down that keeps you keeps your mind ever on your goals, right? Your intentions. And how do you keep straight in order to continue with your intentions? Do you write down a list? Do you make a vision board? What do you do? How do you do it? Right? So that was part of today's one of the readings for today that I posted early in the morning. You should probably go back and watch that because it's coming out again. So set your intentions. You know, what do I want to accomplish today? What do I want to get done? What do I want to see all the way to fruition for today? What do I want? You know, some of us want a new job. Some of us want a new car. Some of us want a new home. Some of us want a new relationship. Some of us want a baby. Some of us want more education. What are your intentions, okay? And are you setting them, and how are you going about ensuring that they're completed? So that's very important. Use your wand very, very wisely. Cycles, okay? Even for males, we have cycles. This happens to talk about the moon. The moon always is a feminine. The moon is a feminine, not a masculine. The sun is a masculine. The moon is a feminine. So in this card, for example, they're talking about the cycles of the moon, but they're all also talking about the new moon, right? And then the full moon, and then back to the crescent moon, which is going back into the darkness and regenerating again, right? Back again into another cycle. And if you look at the card, there's 3 different ladies right there, right? And that is the aspect of the maid, the mother, and the crone. The maid, the mother, and the crone. So cycles of life, right? So we can look at this card, even if we're males and masculines. We can look at this card and we can see what part of our growth are we at. Doesn't even just have to do with age. It doesn't. Okay? It doesn't just have to do with age. This card has to do with what cycle are you in? What cycle are you in your life? What cycle are you in your craft, in your career, in your education? Where are you? So I'm going to put these together because the intentions are going to say, the intentions that I set out to the universe. Remember, you got wands in your fingers. You have 2 actually. So universe, I want. Universe, I want to be famous. Universe, I want money. Universe, I want a mate. Universe, I want a dog. Whatever it is that you want. Whatever it is that you want, setting your intentions. What cycle are you in? What cycle is your life in? What cycle is your intention in? Goal-wise, right? Because we can have them in cycles, beginning, middle, end. Towards the finish line, the end. So whatever it is that you're doing, they're asking you to set intentions so that it comes about. And then you need to watch them as per the cycles as to where it is. Where is the goal? In what cycle? Your ancestors are calling you to remember them. I don't care whether you are Spanish, English, German, Mexican, whatever you are. Whatever you are. Maybe it's your ancestors that are buried nearby at a cemetery. Sometimes, like the video I posted about the cemetery, where sometimes I go to cemeteries to sit and talk to God, listen to wisdoms. And people, as I stated in the video, would probably say, she's very strange. No, she's not. It's quiet. You can't argue that. It's a quiet place. You can just imagine if those people actually did good, meaning made good decisions or made poor decisions. But one thing you can't argue with is that if you're not in, and I made a video on that, if you're not part of that cemetery, meaning you're not 6 feet under, you still have the opportunity to have your intentions, your goals come to fruition. You still have time to go to school. You still have time that if you made mistakes in life and you're wanting to correct them, you have time. And maybe the wisdom of your ancestors is here to show you something. Maybe there's something that your culture, your heritage does as far as like a ritual or even a get together, how maybe during Christmas, because they are mentioning Yule, during a holiday, that this is something special. They cook, they eat, I don't know, like for us in Easter, we always gave our grandmother Easter lilies. That was something we did traditionally every single year. And she was such a plant person. And I know this is getting off of the subject a little bit, but my grandmother could break off a piece of plant anywhere she went, and she'd bring it home and put it in her little cans, because she would drink coffee. So she'd put it in her coffee cans, and I'm not kidding you, she had a garden outside. She would grow roses from those cans. She would grow anything she'd pick up. Anything. So there has to be something traditionally that maybe you're being called to look at that your ancestors did. And whether it's maybe it's as easy as, if you don't have an altar for them, and maybe your parent, your grandparent, your auntie, your uncle, brother, sister, anybody that was close to you that has passed, maybe just put a white candle on for them in remembrance of them. Maybe that's all that's calling for, okay? Because sometimes once people are gone for a while, we tend to say, okay, well, we don't need to do those rituals anymore. But sometimes their spirit is wanting you to make that offering, okay? Containment. So whatever it is that was lost, that was dying, right? That was dying, that was going away. There's a containment there. There's a containment that occurred. The containment occurred to stop the loss. It was contained. And if it's coming out right next to your ancestors, maybe they had some kind of a hand in the stoppage. Stopping, like water in a sink, water in a bathtub. Where does it go? If you don't put a stopper in there, it just keeps going. You're just losing all the water. So there was a containment, and I think your ancestors had something to do with containing the stoppage of the loss. okay? Your last one is a scrying card, your shadow card. I'm going to say they're giving me 2 messages out of this card, okay? So see how it says scrying mirror? For me, this is not only saying to me that you can see things, but more over looking at yourself, because it's talking about the shadow. And when you look at a real obsidian mirror, you're only going to see your own shadow reflected back at you until you are able to use it to read, right? To see, to gaze. But if it's talking about the shadow, what they want you to see is you. What they want you to see is you. When you look into the mirror, they want you to look at your shadow side. So yesterday's reading was really deep, and it as an empath, it touched me so much. It made me tear. Because I am an empath and I don't want people necessarily to be out there suffering. There's nothing I can do except give advice, and hopefully people follow it so that they can stop the loss. They can stop, having to go through these things. But one thing I cannot do for you, and nor can God, is for you to look at your shadow side. Your shadow side is what caused the issue. What caused you to have the stoppage? What caused you to have the lack? What caused you to lose whatever you were losing? You have to look at that. And in that other video that I did in that reading, it also wanted us to take a look at ourselves so that we'd never have to experience the dark aspects of finances drying up. So something here is being shown to you so that you can take a good look at it. And whether that's finances, or whether it's in love, whether it's in health, something that has turned cold needs to be cleansed away. Set your intentions again with power. Watch them per the cycles to see the changes. Your ancestors are watching over you. Perhaps be nice enough to put a candle, a white one. No writing on it. Maybe some white flowers if you want to. And then once you start seeing all of this clearing happening in your life, they do want you to take a good look at yourself and see how something that you did or didn't do caused you the winter of loss. I'm just going to call it that way, the winter of loss, because it doesn't necessarily have to do with money. They're not talking about money. They're just saying something died. Something died. Something that you cared about, something that you needed, something that was yours, something died. So in order for that not to happen again, you're going to have to make sure to cleanse yourself. Again, I already gave you a way you can do it in case you didn't already know about the salt ritual. But look at yourself. Take a good look at yourself. Nobody's here to judge you. I certainly am not. But sometimes we do things and we think we're doing the right thing, and that's the very thing that ends up hurting us. So something that you did to yourself hurt you quite a bit. Something that you did to yourself. So you caused it somehow, either by a decision or, I don't know. I always like to give examples, right? And people, somebody put a comment in the on the video that I did yesterday, and she said, believe in your talents and use discernment. And I thought to myself, I wish she wouldn't have been so vague. I do believe in my talents. I was born an empath, clairvoyant, medium. You have no idea what that's like when you're young and you have no training and you feel everybody's everything. It's like a lady having, I'm going to use this, sorry people. It's like a lady having PMS. And then a man comes by and he's angry because maybe he had something go on at work. And then you go further on and then there's a baby that's crying. Maybe they have a stomach ache. And all of that malarkey you're feeling because you haven't been taught to shield and to ensure that you know the difference between others' energies and your own. So trust me, I've been doing this for 60 years since I've been on this earth. And I've been working with the general public for 30 years. And in the beginning, no, I did not know what I was doing because I had to learn to read cards because, long story short, I gave my gift back. Because at the age of 15, I saw so much more than this Mickey Mouse. I have to say Mickey Mouse because this is nothing by comparison of what my gift is like. And because of that, to rebuild my connection, I learned to read cards. But I don't know what the young lady was talking about, so I can't even phantom what it was that she was trying to convey. But looking at your shadow, I've had to look at my shadow. I've had to look to see, okay, I'm angry. Am I angry because I just went into a store and there was an argument there and I brought home that energy? Or is it that I'm angry because it's me? So trust me when I tell you, everything that I've done, especially the last 30 years, because I didn't even know magic was a word. I didn't know what metaphysics, I didn't even know there was a word that was supernatural except through the Bible. I didn't know the word metaphysical except once I turned 30. I didn't know there were witches. I didn't know anything until then. Trust me when I tell you I've had a lot of things that just come out because it's natural, and a lot of things I've had to study to know what I'm talking about. But I've had 30 years of study, so if anything, I can say I have a PhD in the metaphysical and spiritual realms. So I'm not exactly sure why that young lady thought that I didn't have, I guess, enough self-esteem or enough confidence. I tone it down for you guys because I don't want to come across like a know-it-all. I don't ever want to come across like I know so much more than you do. I'm here as a guide. I'm here as a teacher. But as I said in another video, there's always going to be somebody that knows more. That's just natural. I can't go, let's say if I wanted to study medicine more deeply, I can't go as a medical assistant into medical school to become a doctor and think I know everything. That would be ludicrous because there's always going to be someone that knows more, hence the professors, right? So that's my point, is that there's always somebody's going to do things differently, have different techniques. We may not read the cards the same, but that doesn't have anything to do with me having confidence or confidence in my craft. I will tell you something though. It would be much easier if this was the only job I had, like I did before. But like I disclosed to you guys, when I started this journey for YouTube 4 years ago, this is all I did. This was my world. I didn't have to work outside of my home. I didn't have to do anything. So all I did was sit around doing readings, and I posted them. It went nowhere, and I was dressed, and I had my dresses on and all my jewelry, because I love to wear jewelry and I love to get my hair done, and my nails were always done. It went nowhere. I had, I think 50 subscribers, and those subscribers are not even part of this channel. So sometimes you gotta look at it, right? Back to the shadow thing. Sometimes you gotta go look at the shadow. What am I doing wrong, or not even wrong necessarily? What technique or what direction should I have gone? Because look at my channel now. It may not be huge, but it's growing in increments. That makes me so happy, because that means that maybe 7 of y'all won't like what I'm doing, but maybe 100 will. So I'm here for the 100 that do understand that I'm having a human experience just like you. So therefore, I'm not going to behave like I know every single thing there is to know in the metaphysics, because I don't. And I think the only person, if we call him a person, that could possibly have all the answers would be Jesus Christ, who walked on water, who rose the dead, who from, loaves and fish fed multitudes. I don't know how to do that, guys. I don't think you do either, but I don't go around trying to point out your flaws. So whatever that young lady was trying to convey, I still don't get it. But peace be with you until you decide that you don't need my peace, and I don't need to give it either. But for now, what we do need to do, good ending, good segue, looking at our shadow. Good segue to the ending of this video. I went to a convenience store because this morning I forgot to drink my coffee. Well, the real truth to that is I forgot to buy coffee. So I was going to go out and buy some, and then I decided I wasn't going to do that because it gets really hot around 10:30 a.m. here. So instead I bought a big bread and got my cup of ice. I'm going out again later today to do a split shift. So I stopped at a convenience store on the way back to the home, to my home. And I was looking at the Big Red again because I was like, well, it didn't work that great, but it was something to drink and it kept me cool. So let me stop and see if, I can buy some Big Red. Before I got in the store, the sign I read said it was $4. That's all I got to see from driving, right? From driving. And then I pulled in. When I went inside, all I saw was the $4. So I thought it was 2 for $4, and there were 20 ounce. So then I I brought it to the counter, and the guy goes $4.80 plus tax. And I'm looking at him and I'm like, $4.80? And I said, but look, sir. And then he goes, it says $4.80. I said, okay, sir, that's fine. And then I said, just forget it. I went outside and I said, look, sir, it says $4 on there. He said, but it's expired. Can you not see? Don't you have eyes? I said, oh, okay. Well, don't you have hands? You can take that down since it's expired, because that's false advertising. Anyway, he got into a shouting match with me. Long story short, I ended up going to H-E-B because I needed to go get a money order. H-E-B is a grocery store. So I went to go and get a money order. And as I was going in, this young man was coming out. Not kidding you. He had these big old bottles in his cart. And I said, ooh, because he had 3 of them. I said, ooh, do they have, are they having a sale on Big Red right now? He said, actually, yes, they are. They're 3 for $3. I was like, what? Shut your mouth when you talk to me. So anyway, he goes, here you go. And he gives me the coupon. I went and bought three bottles that were 2 liters each. 2 liters each. All 3 I got for $3. So that guy at the store needs to look at his shadow side. Because he's wrong for that. He was telling me that if I had eyes, I could see that it was expired. Anyway, sometimes, again, we get into situations ourselves, something that we're doing, something that we're not doing. Maybe if I would have paid more attention, None of that would have even started. I would have gotten back in my car and I would have driven away if I saw that it had been expired. But my mind was on, I'd like to get some Big Red. It says $4 for 2 bottles. That's all I saw. And he could have been patient and not had to be yelling at me. But because he yelled at me, I ended up with 3 2-liter bottles. So I got 6 liters worth of Big Red, and one is in the fridge getting cool just for me. Thank you to this guy for not looking at his shadow side. But maybe the intentions I set was I wanted Big Red, and the universe heard it, and shazam, I got 3 2-liter bottles of Big Red. And now I have more than enough Big Red to last me for probably a couple months, because I don't drink sodas that often. I hope that this has helped someone. Intentions do work. Set your goals, set your goals, set your goals. But use your goals wisely, okay? Because where you direct your energy, that's what grows. Where you direct your energy, that's what grows. Okay? And whatever has died off, if you want to bring that back, set your intentions, but look at what went wrong and how you contributed, because that's going to help a lot. And again, just like the video yesterday, why Spirit is asking you to look at yourself to see why it happened is so that it doesn't happen again. So you don't have to experience that again. The earth is a school. We're here in school. From 0, when we come out of the darn canal, the birthing canal, all the way till we go back home. This is a school. Don't be like me. You have to learn lessons over and over and over. Certain lessons until you pass. Until you pass. If you don't pass that particular, you can look at the cycle. Here we go with the cycle. If you don't pass that cycle, that phase, moons are also in phases, right? Cycles, phases. If you don't pass that phase of your life, that life lesson, you got to do it all over again. And if you don't believe me, just turn the video off and stop and think about things that have happened over and over and over. Even though the people have changed, the faces have changed, or even at work, the situations are the same, even though it's a different company. There's something that is in your shadow. I passed it. It's your shadow that's causing it. It's your shadow. Something you're doing. Maybe the lesson you were supposed to learn was don't go back to companies of that sort. Maybe don't go back to man or woman of that kind. Maybe don't try to go to a school. Like I had to stop going to school. That's another story. But I had to stop going to school, so I stopped a year short of my degree being finished because I didn't agree with the school's philosophy. They got really woke on me, and I just can't do that. I disclose. I am conservative, so if you don't like that, probably not the channel for you. But yeah, I couldn't. And they kept telling me, just do the work. Just do the work, turn the work in. You don't have to believe. I said, but I do have to believe, because I have to have the passion to write the papers. You can't write extensive white papers and not believe in what you're doing, because it's just not, it's going to come out